I'm still here. I'm still here. When I took off on this journey from Genesis to Revelation, really enjoying the walk from Egypt to Canaan right now. We're still in that because we're in Leviticus. I think I said something in one of the previous videos. I think it was the last previous video when I was telling you about the children of Israel. And I was having a back and forth. I can't even call it a conversation. A back and forth with my Jewish brother. He has Ashkenazi beliefs. The Jews believe that the Jewish people think they believe they're from the tribe of Judah. So I was asking him about the tribe of Reuben. He says, we're all children of Israel. So he gave me a political answer back. And Reuben, Issachar, Gad, Dan, Joseph, they're all separate tribes. And I think it's important that we understand. I'm always adjusting these glasses. I think it's important that we understand that all these separate tribes live in different regions, or a lot of them do, because Reuben and Manasseh, the half tribe, along with Gad, are Armenian. And they have their own bent on things, so, everybody's a little bit different. But some people within the Jewish faith want to claim all the tribes as theirs, just like the Christians want to claim all the tribes that are theirs. No, it's not the way it works. These tribes went all over the regions. In fact, they talk about the 10 lost tribes. They're not lost. They're not lost. It's just over the generations, as we have explained since Genesis, tribes begin to spread out all over the world. And they take up. So now I hope you're following me, because a tribe is a nation, a people group. And out of nations come other nations. That's why the promise to Abraham was he'll make him a father of many nations. Nations being birthed out of nations. We're just retracing back some of the core nations. And no, they're not all Jewish. And they're not all, as you say, Christian. Christianity started, I believe, in Antioch, but in Acts chapter 10. Christianity didn't even start with Jesus dying on the cross. And some of you are going to roast me for that. And that's okay. Roast away. But Jesus believed in the Torah, and that's what he studied. But he also studied other. There's a debate on what he did with 3 and 3rd years, for 3 years or something like that. Before he started his ministry at 30, he was gone for a period of time, and he traveled. And it comes out in different books, that he traveled into different regions. I'm explaining this to you, in a very, very nice way, not to mess up your sensibilities, to explain to you that Moses didn't get his religion just from Joseph, the tribe of Joseph. Because Joseph married an Egyptian. So we want to make everything a monologue. And things, look at your own life. Things are not a monologue. Moses, after leaving the tribe of Israel, being a Hebrew baby born in the Egyptian palace, he wasn't of the tribe of Joseph. I was just But the point is, Joseph brought the whole family into Egypt. So don't get religious on me here. Just relax. I'm just having a little fun. But having that experience and then running off and hanging out with, I believe his wife's name was Keturah, and the priest of Midian, that's where he grew up. In Ethiopia. So he learned their ways. Just like Joseph learned the ways of the Egyptians and began to speak their language. Where his brothers didn't. So you want to make everything a monologue. That's not the way it works. If you're really interested in diving deep and having a rich, worthy understanding of how nations are created, you got to get off the simplicity, the simplistic view of Christianity from the standpoint of your pastor's education, who may not have taken the time. If he did, he didn't explain it to you, but may not have taken the time to get you past the Christmas story, which didn't happen in December. If we're going to unify, we have to look at everyone else and say, you know what, maybe part of the thing that I'm representing is not necessarily as truthful as possible, and maybe the thing that they're representing has a little bit more truth in it. Maybe I should take the time to learn from them as well, instead of trying to push my quote-unquote Christianity off on people. Maybe we should unify under a different banner called the Kingdom of God. So I've taken a minute to study the tribes. I want to, God is going to reveal to me where the 10 lost, quote unquote, lost tribes are. They're not lost. I found Reuben. I found him in Armenia, near the river Hagar. I think it's Hagar, Hagar, or is it Homa? Homa. I have to relook it up. It's in the notes. They're not lost. They're right there. Reuben went to Syria. He went to Syria. 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 26. Now I had to go up a little bit, and we have to go back. Genesis chapter 35, verse 22. Reuben had an issue with sleeping with his father's concubine, his brother's mother. So, he got himself in a little bit of a challenge, sleeping with Dan and Naphtali's mother. But he is Asiatic. There seems to be some Turkey roots, which is interesting because Turkeys are all the way over there. There seems to be some Japanese roots. We're looking at all of it. There's definitely a connection with Aram. I believe that's grandson of Nahor, Abraham's brother. So listen, everything isn't about. So I have to dig into the roots of all these people just to get you from Egypt to Canaan, which is Palestine. You can't. You gotta. Everything's not simple. We got to stop tearing other people apart for their beliefs when you haven't even bothered to study what they're saying. It's kind of like when I watch the politics on TV. By the way, this is for my grandkids, for my brothers and sisters in Kenya and Ghana, and if this is a blessing to you, so be it. I watch because I like taking the current now and paying attention, and you got a bunch of people following people, and they're completely uneducated in what they're following. On a different note, I was talking to a young lady yesterday, and when I was talking to her, she didn't open her mouth, and I spoke directly into her life, and it shut her down. And then her friend came to me the next day, in the next hour, and said, "Man, how did you know all that stuff? You had her like pinpointed, boom, boom, boom." It's the Spirit of God. If you're paying attention and not so stuck in your own belief systems, you can actually see people and their intentions and their motives. We got a whole bunch of people stuck in their feelings and stuck in their way of thinking about things, but at the same time talking about they love God, but focused on themselves. But they love God, but you're focused on yourself. What? If you love God, then we're here to redeem and restore and be the repairer of the breach. We're on a mission. That means we have to be focused on delivering other people. How do you do that and not understand their culture? And it's okay with limiting your culture to just this little culture over here, but live there. And then when somebody comes outside of your little space, you have to say something that's really, really clever. That is, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. Well, maybe it makes sense, but I really don't understand it. Because people will deceive you based on feeding your biases. And if you play into it, you will become a tool of the deceiver. So I'm studying the tribes right now to come back to you. I'm still here. I'm studying the tribes right now to come back to you to further take you on this journey in Leviticus. We're almost out of Leviticus, I think. We're in Leviticus 24. But I really think I need to bring you some... Oh, by the way, I just brought you some information on Reuben. Armenian. So he's not lost. The tribe of Reuben isn't lost. I just want to make sure that's clear. And it's not just Armenian, because again, there's some evidence in the Bible. I don't go much further out of the Bible. And I'm repeating this just in case. Bit Hahani, I think is how you pronounce it, in Syria. 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 26. I think you can read that part there. The curse that was on his life because he slept with his father's concubine. That's Genesis chapter 35, verse 22. You can read about that thing in Genesis chapter 49 in verse 4. But it was Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh that were taken by the Assyrians, which is Syria. And there seems to be some, because there's a river, I believe, that's flowing. There seems to be some type of connection, haven't figured it out yet, with Haber and Hara, which seems to be Japanese. So everybody's not Jewish. And there were no Christians at the time. And I'm going to keep drilling this home. It's not about all of those things. It's about the kingdom of God. That's where we have to unify at. That's the point. Because every tribe comes with their own thing. But the unification is that we all have to come to our core beliefs, which is the kingdom of God. That's where the unification will begin.